Every ball flight produces a signature that has two main characteristics. What was the starting line, and which way and how much did the ball curve away from that starting line? The starting line is predominantly determined by where the face was pointing at impact, and the direction and amount of the curve of the ball is determined by the club's path in relationship to that face angle. If the path is to the left of the face, it will curve to the right. If the path is to the right of the face, it will curve to the left. If the difference between the path and face is small, it will be a small curve. If the difference is big, it will be a big curve. In this example, I have drawn several arrows that show how the face and path vectors produce a nice power fade. The black arrow is the target line. This is where you want the ball to land in the fairway. The blue arrow is the direction the face is pointing at impact, and the red arrow is the path of the club during impact. The ball's initial starting direction will be along the blue arrow, and because the path of the club is slightly left of the blue arrow, the ball will curve a small amount back to the right and land on the black line. The yellow arrow represents the ball flight. Now this picture shows the path and face vectors when you hit a slice. If your swing produces the exact same path as a nice fade, but on this swing the face was slightly right of the target line at impact, then the ball will start along the blue arrow, slightly right of the target line, and now because the difference between the blue and red arrow is greater, the ball will curve more than a nice fade. The ball will start right of the target and curve even more to the right. Every player has a core swing, and every time you swing trying to produce your core swing, you get some variation. Sometimes your variation will be a good shot and sometimes not. No one knows which shot is going to come out with your next swing. It's like playing Wheel of Fortune. Every time you swing, you're spinning the wheel, hoping the wheel stops on a good shot. We are all trying to build a swing with a higher percentage of good shots than bad shots. The difference between a good shot and bad shot is primarily determined by the relationship between the face direction and the path of the club during impact. Every time you swing, you get a different relationship and a different ball flight. If a player has too many inconsistent ball flights, then they have inconsistencies in either their face angle or path during impact. The first thing a player or an instructor must do is determine if their inconsistency is mostly a face angle issue or a path issue. In my view, the face angle in your swing has a greater variability at impact than your path does. In this picture, the blue arrows represent the different face angles you produce at impact, and the red arrows show your varying path directions. I believe you have a fairly stable path for your club, with only slight variations from swing to swing, but you have a wider variation of your face angle. The yellow arrow shows the extreme right and left ball flights that are possible with your swing. To make your ball flight more consistent, you need to make your face angle at impact more consistent. You need to eliminate the extreme right and extreme left positions of your face angle. You need to quieten the hands during impact. You need to slow down your rate of face closure. On the downswing, the club face will begin closing and hopefully arrive at impact facing the direction we want the ball to start. The speed at which the face is closing is called the rate of closure. Players who have too fast of a rate of closure have chaos and extreme variability in the face position at impact. The video of your swing shows some evidence you have a very fast rate of closure in your swing. This requires very good timing with the hands. Some days your timing will be very good and some days not. If you made some changes, you could make more consistent shots without this requirement of perfect timing. Okay, let's take a look at one of your swings, and we're going to kind of check out the rate of closure. First, in going back, you have a tendency to really roll the left forearm during your backswing quite a bit. When your club gets to this position, that face angle right now is pointing almost straight up in the air. And so you've opened the club face to an extreme amount in the backswing. Many times we do the wrong thing for a logical reason. The reason you have a fast rate of closure is because you have forced yourself to have it. by having an extreme openness of the club face in your backswing, you have to have an extreme closure in the downswing in order to return the club square. You have a little bit of an over-the-top move, a little bit of a loop in your swing, and that also is the wrong thing for a logical reason. It actually helps you increase the rate of closure, which you require because of your rotation in the backswing. As you come through, you're trying to close that face as quickly as you can in order to get the ball to start in a reasonable direction. When your right arm is parallel to the ground, that's called the ninth position, your face is pointing basically downward like that. So you can see how you've really rotated your left forearm and your right hand over. You've really twisted and rotated your hands very quickly through impact. You're almost trying to throw the club head over the ball. And that is not what produces a draw curve. I know that there have been articles years ago written about the way you create draw is to have this extreme rollover of the arms. That is a myth. That is a falsehood. So first we have evidence that you do indeed rotate the club over very quickly. And you can see where that face is pointing. I'm going to leave those red arrows up, and we're going to take a look at another one of your swings. This swing is your practice swing that you did just prior to hitting the golf ball. Very relaxed as you come through, and when your arm is parallel to the ground, the face angle is pretty square right there. So you have a different rate of closure when you're not hitting a golf ball. You're just doing a natural golf swing. You're not thinking about trying to hit something. You're just letting your body move in a natural golf swing manner. So that produces a natural release of the hands and not an extreme rotated release of the hands. Ideally, this is the swing that I would like you to hit a golf ball with. I think it has a much slower rate of closure and will create a more consistent position of the face angle. Now, it's certainly possible because you might have to make some other adjustment to make sure that rate of closure produces a face angle that's in the direction you want it to be at impact. But this is your best golf swing. Now let's look at other differences between your practice swing and your ball swing. Okay, the swing on the right is your practice swing, and the swing on the left is your ball swing, and you can see a couple different differences here. First, let's look at the hands inside the yellow circle. You can certainly see on the left how you've really rotated and thrown those forearms over, and the face angle is shut down on the left. On the right, you're swinging out to the target and hinging upward, not over, and so the face angle is and that is in a little different position, and one would even say a better position. When the face angle is in the position it is on the right is a clue, is an indication that you have a slow rate of closure going on through impact. When you see the face position on the left, and obviously see the look of your hands and forearms on the left, that is certainly evidence and a clue that during impact you have an extreme fast rate of closure. You're really trying to throw that club face around into the golf ball, and a lot of that comes from the sense that it's approaching the ball too open, and you're trying your best to square it up in the brief amount of time you have. The second thing I want to focus on is the shoulders. You can certainly see a huge difference in how you have your right shoulder much lower than your left shoulder. You are maintaining a spine angle tilt in your swing on the right. You are almost swinging up to a position of level shoulders on the left. The more correct shoulder position in the ninth position. The ninth position is when your right arm is parallel to the ground. That is called the ninth position. The proper ninth position of the shoulders is more what you see on the right than what you see on the left. This here is Grant Waite, who played on tour during the 90s, and Tiger said he thought he had the best swing in golf. Grant is now a teaching instructor of many of the top players, including Charles Howell III, Aaron Baddeley, Mike Weir, Daniel Summerhays, to name a few. Here's Rory McIlroy, and you can see how his shoulders are in the same position your practice swing is in. Here's Tiger. You'll see that in almost every single PGA pro there is. They're always going to be, when they're in the ninth position, right arm parallel to the ground, they will have maintained the spine angle that they set up to the golf ball in. When you set up to the golf ball, you tilt forward. That spine tilt, you swing around that tilt without lifting that tilt. And when you follow through to the ninth position with that tilt, it automatically creates the right shoulder to go down and the left shoulder to go up to produce this look that we're seeing now. You have a template of the swing that you should slowly try to build your golf swing to. And it's a swing you already know. You don't have to learn how to do this. You do it every single time you do a practice swing. You do a very good golf swing. But when the ball is there, your body changes the way it moves. It does not perform the practice move. It performs this other move. And we need to figure out what's causing that. There are 2 or 3 things you could work on or change in your driver's swing. Some of these would be easy to change and some would be more difficult. I tend to want to work towards what I call low fruit things first. You could make a change in your setup and not have to think about how to change your swing. That the subconscious mind, in seeing a new setup, will start to remold its motion behind the curtain. You don't have to even be aware of what the subconscious is doing as it changes your swing. One of the things that I would like to experiment with is have you move your ball position from here to here. I'd like you to move it up 2 or 3 inches and let your subconscious mind figure out how to hit the golf ball with that change. It will be forced to make changes in order to hit good shots, and it will do those changes without your conscious mind trying to do it itself. Your conscious mind will feel the change after the swing. After you swing at the ball and hit a ball, you will reflect on the feeling of it, and if it was a bad shot, you'll kind of notice something that you remember. If it's good, same with a good shot. But your subconscious mind would slowly start to make some changes here. With the ball more forward, the subconscious mind is going to absolutely know that it cannot have the same rate of closure that it has now. It would absolutely be forced to slow the rate of closure down, because if it is swinging, if the rate of closure is too quick, and you move that ball forward, you would just be smother hooking everything way left, and your subconscious mind would change that rate of closure in order to stop that ball flight. Slowing the rate of closure is the primary goal here. I'm going to talk about now other changes you should make, but before I do, I recommend that you only work on ball position changes. I need to get some feedback from you and how that workout went. I want you to, and I don't want you to hit 5 balls with a new ball position and say it didn't work. I need you to hit 30 balls. I need you to hit 10 balls and evaluate what's going on. Hit 10 more. Did some of them, did it slowly start to get a little bit better? It takes a little bit of time. I want you to feel like that ball is on your toe. I want you to put down some clubs or sticks so that you confirm that you have the new ball position. You don't need to change your weight shift or your preset position in your feet. Your width of stance is fine. But you will feel like your hands are a little bit more behind the golf ball, that your whole body is a little bit more behind the golf ball. Your first few swings may be ugly. They may be the best drives you've ever hit. I certainly anticipate you hitting the ball slightly higher. I want you to hit the ball actually a little bit higher, and you may even need to tee the ball up slightly higher in order to make this work. But I want you to experiment with a new ball position and give me some feedback on how that changed. After I get your feedback, I will then know what the proper next step is. And certainly part of that will be in reshaping your backswing, not letting you roll the forearms quite so quickly. And so your subconscious mind might start doing that on its own. As it sees that new ball position and knows it has to slow the rate of closure down, it may also slow the openness in your backswing subconsciously. But I just need to hear the feedback. I anticipate you hitting more shots to the right initially.